Start my lecture today with the Islamic greeting. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. May the peace, mercy, and blessing of God be upon all of you. Selamat tengah hari and good afternoon. I have given the solution for the exercise for the problem that you gave it to me. The approach is quite comprehensive. You can find a solution in the books, sometimes take about 4 or 5 steps, but I consistently using the method I teach in class, right? Where we consider the vector analysis. That approach is very helpful, but it's up to you if you want to using it, or you have freedom to use any method that you use, but make sure that the result is consistent with whatever method the method I use and whatever method that available. Right, we are still in the topic of work energy methods, or simply the energy balance, using energy balance to determine kinematic description of problem, right? So today we're going to look at the kinematics of rigid body. So in a rigid body, there is 3 types, basic type that we considered. First is translation, the second one will be rotation, and the last one will be combination of translation and rotation, or simply general plane motion. We have covered that when we look at the kinematics of a rigid body. We're going to extend it to look at the states of energy at different instances, in order for us to calculate the appropriate kinematic properties. So all back to the kinematic description. Right. Let us have a look at the text. Right. It's appear in section B, the title of the book. Right. The title will be Work and Energy for Rigid Bodies. So the first one tells you the idea. Right. The idea. Sometimes they tells you about the prerequisite to when you consider this topic. So first state that we have covered the prerequisite here is you have to learn about kinetic of particles in chapter 3, and in that chapter the author have developed the principle of work. We have 3 types of work that we consider: work associated with the external force, work associated with the spring force, work associated with the weight. Right? So that is the principle of work that we consider. And then when we look at the energy, we look at the kinetic energy, we look at the potential energy. There is a combination of energy. The potential energy can be the spring potential energy, and the other one is gravitational potential energy, right? And from that we come up with the equation, and then we can have this total mechanical energy. It's a combination of kinetic energy and the potential energies, right? So the terminology is quite same. It is thermodynamics. Apart from the way that we describe potential energy is different. I personally understood the energy balance better rather than these work energy equations. So those equations have been developed in this in chapter 3. So it says here that the author find that this principle of work and energy is used to describe, the keyword here, to describe a motion, right, of the particle. And this is the results of the forces. So in the process of developing, to understand the motion, we have to show the free body diagrams and active force diagram. And when we like to describe the motion of this effect of forces, it should be throughout a distance. So we have conservative forces and non-conservative forces. If you want to learn more about these conservative forces and non-conservative forces, this book is not really tell you details, but you can go to a book of Hibbler. They are described better about the conservative forces and non-conservative forces. And then we have a finite displacement. It means that we have a limited motion, right? Which is, we can define the magnitude of displacement. The work energy methods made assumption that we can eliminate you don't have to calculate the acceleration, and to integrate the accelerations over time, for example, to determine the velocity changes. So if you want to use this method, the good thing is that you don't have to consider about the high order kinematic properties, which is acceleration. So we're going to extend the same principle to when describing a motion for rigid body. Right. So we look at the energy first, right? So the first one is kinetic energy. So we are looking at the plane motion. So we are looking at the plane kinetics of rigid body. So rigid body can have translations, right? So you can see the body appear in this figure, right? So at all point on the body, they are having the same speed, v, yeah. So the rigid body, we assume that it has a homogeneous mass m, all the particle having the common velocity v, right? This one can be the relative velocity, can be absolute velocity. But when we develop, we want to determine the kinetic energy, we will look at the absolute values, right? The notation that we use is T, and for the whole rigid body, definition is given by equation 6-7, which half m v equals to 2, power of 2. So and this motion, this expression, this definition applied for rectilinear and curvilinear translation. Rectilinear means the system is moving without changing its orientations in a straight line. The other one is non-straight line. And then we have a fixed axis rotation. If you look at the figures showing the fixed axis rotation, we have a pin there, and the whole system is moving without deformation, right? So in this way, we can evaluate the kinetic energy. The definition is in equation 6/8, half the moment of inertia of the body about the axis point of rotation, and then we have the angular speed of the rigid body. So in the quiz 2, I give you two body at different orientation, right? So in that quiz, I ask you to prove that the whole body, the two body having the same angular speed. So that quiz actually want to tell you, to give you a preparation so that you can accept that these definitions, right?